Welcome to Insights with PT. It's your girl Tammy. For the past couple of weeks, we've been discussing our very own Pastor Tola's story, his life story, his upbringings, the challenges, some of also his life experiences as well. And also we've discussed how he became the man that God helped. Now, as always, it's our lovely Pastor Tola.
Hey, how you doing?
And also joining us as well, it's
Lukule.
And we're going to go ahead and dive into some audience questions that people have been sending in as of recently to ask PT. So, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So the first one is it's a loaded question. So PT, during the This Is My Story season, you described how you began discerning God's voice early on, including in identifying your spouse. Could you elaborate on the practices that helped you cultivate and deepen your relationship with the Holy Spirit?
The issue of me hearing God as regards the choice of a wife, up to today, to me, is still strange. Because I think I became a Christian like 2 months before. Do you understand? And I'd never had anybody, teach on how to hear God, or this is how God speaks. But that day was special because I had what I've never had before, and I knew that this must be God telling me. Because how do you see a lady just coming out of bed and shows up and something says in you, that's your wife? You understand? And there is no other proof than to say that this was 38 years ago, and we're still here. Do you understand? Now, on deepening my relationship with the Holy Spirit, I've always been very serious at anything I do. There's nothing that I do that I don't put my mind in it. When it came to walking with God, I knew how to put my mind to it. Even though I didn't set out to become a pastor, but there was a longing in me that wanted to serve God, and didn't really matter, the position or where, And because of that longing, I kept on searching out for more, like, either reading the Bible or meditating, or just trying to talk to God one-on-one, and I've realized over the time, God has, exposed himself or shown himself more to me, than anything else, and it's been great.
Yeah. So I want to piggyback off what you said initially about hearing even at 2 months. There's a question here that says, at the time, did the accuracy at which you were led by the Holy Spirit cause concern amongst those around you? Because I just bet that people around would be like, oh my goodness, like, didn't he just give his life? Like, how is he able to just discern?
They didn't really take it seriously, because things like that, in my time, people didn't take it seriously. What I mean by that is that they're just saying, you hardly know this girl, and you are saying God told you that she's your wife. So how do you navigate that? And all they did was to say, let's wait and see what's going to happen. And over the years, they've been looking at it and they said, you know what? Perhaps God really spoke to this guy. They understand? Because, there's something about longevity, that whether you like it or not, you see, if somebody gives a prophecy, for instance, it's time really that will declare the prophecy. It's time, So after a while, when the prophecy comes to pass, you don't have to be a prophet yourself to know that that was a prophecy that has come to pass. You understand? Because everybody will see it and they'll say, okay. So there wasn't any kind of issue with my friends, like that on what I said. They just said, wow, we can't believe that this guy will say this, or that is going to want to settle down just like that, and it wasn't difficult for me, honestly. It was not. It was not. I know my wife might not like that, but most women don't like it because they just want, a kind of, romantic story and things like that, And there's nothing wrong in that, But what I tell people is that no matter, how good the romance is and things like that, if God is not there, it's a lie. Except the Lord builds, they labor in vain, they that build. It doesn't mean that people are not building, but it says that they labor in vain. So why would I want to labor in vain when I can allow God, to build for me? Do you understand? So.
Love that, love that. So, as the series, continues, we talked about, your childhood, how it was like growing up. So, how did you overcome the pain of your childhood and reach a point where you could forgive both your principal and your father? These situations are substantial betrayals that many, including myself, continue to struggle with.
With the issue of the principal, when I left his house I'm trying to see when I left his house. I think I left his house in 1970. I never met him again. Do you understand? When people hurt you, what hurts you most at times or makes it more difficult for you to forgive is because you are constantly seeing them. Do you understand? And when you see them, the hurt comes back again. Do you understand? I never saw him again. That's one. Then number two, when I look at my life and I look at the summary of it, I could see that God has helped me. So the question I'm asking myself, what am I fighting for? Do you understand? That's the question I ask myself. What am I fighting for? And really, there's nothing to fight for, or there's nothing not to forgive or forget for, because God has repaid you times over, and when you look at Joseph's story, all his brothers thought he was going to get back to them when they met him in Egypt. But the guy said that what they meant for evil, God turned it around for his own good. So without him going through all that, being sold into slavery, into Potiphar's house, and going to prison, he would not have ended up as the prime minister. You understand? So there are times evil or bad is done against us, and we want to hold on to it. But with my own experience, every evil or bad that has been done against me has helped me to get closer to my destiny. So I can only look back and say, you know what, it's okay. Let's move on. I'm better off for it. And the good thing, let me say this, is that if the people are still alive and they see what has happened to you, that's enough for them.
That's true. So there's a question here, and it says, reflecting on your relationship with your father now, given your deeper walk with Christ, do you believe that you manage that relationship appropriately? What actionable steps can others take towards reconciliation with parents who may have caused profound hurt during childhood or even in their adulthood?
Number one, the person asking the question is assuming that my dad is alive. My dad died in 2007. That's 18 years ago. That's a long time. That's one. But before he died also, I tried to have a discussion with him, but it wasn't getting anywhere. And at that time, his health had deteriorated and it wasn't well coordinated. Do you understand? So I didn't believe that even if I went deeper into the discussion, he would have appreciated it. Do you understand? So I just said, you know what, it doesn't matter, let me just leave it. Let me just leave it. But one thing that cannot be taken away, which I also said, earlier, is that while he was alive, he saw my life, as it were, change in his eyes. The things he never thought I could become, I became. Not even now. If it is now, it will have a major shock. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so for me, I just had to move on. This thing about holding on, to grudges, it's eating out too many people. The people that offended you, many of them have even moved on. Do you understand? But you are the one, you are now griping with it. You are the one dealing with it, and it's eating you up on the inside. So I said to myself, I can't give you two things at the same time. The first one, you hurt me. The second one, then I'm going to be unforgiving towards you. No, I can't do that. So over the years, what I've done, is that when people hurt me, it's not so difficult for me to forgive. But I ensure I will never put myself in a situation that you will do it again. You will never have a second chance. And that's just it. You will never have a second chance. That's it. Do you understand? If I brought you into my bedroom and you looked into my bedroom and you hurt me, you will not see the doors again. It doesn't mean I've not forgiven you, but you will not see the doors of my bedroom. Not to enter. You will not even enter. Do you understand what I'm saying? So first one, it's your fault that you messed me up. But second one, it's going to be on me that I allowed you to do it again. It's not going to happen.
It's been an amazing conversation here with Pastor Tola, and man, have there been amazing gems that have been dropped. I hope you all are paying attention. Continue to send in your questions. We have so much more to discuss in the upcoming episodes of Insights with PT. So don't forget to send in them questions, send in your topics, any type of concerns that you want to hear being discussed right here with Insights with PT to the email address insightswithpt@jesushousebaltimore.org. We'll see you all next time.